ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of The Outside Noise. I, of course, am your lead noisemaker for today, Taylor Hodges with HottyToddy.com, and we got a few different things that we can talk about today. I think most of this is we're gonna focus mostly on just some Ole Miss baseball stuff. They do have a game coming up in about 4 hours from now. It's 2:05 p.m. exactly on Tuesday for me as I'm recording this. And so that's what we'll focus on. There are other things, that we could mention. Women's basketball, they had their season come to an end, kind of in an unglorious way. A very good argument could be made that they shouldn't have lost that game, and I think the argument's more like Cody McMahon shouldn't have been in that early foul trouble. She got her second foul, I think, like 3 minutes into the start of the game, so she had to sit for most of the first quarter. And, once you get into foul trouble in basketball, especially at the college level where, 5 personal fouls and you're out of the game, she got her fifth one with about 440 something left on the clock. And what once she fouled out, there was still a chance and there was still an opportunity, but it did feel like that the end result was going to be that Minnesota wins. Now, again, Ole Miss had a chance, so it's not all based on the fact that Cody McMahon fouled out. Tiana Thompson had a great-looking three-point shot there at the end of the game with it was 0.8 seconds left on the clock, and she had that great-looking three. It just bounced off the front of the rim. And then, of course, right before that, you had Latasha Lattimore getting the inbounds pass and driving baseline to the basket and to tie the game, which was a great play. Which is a great play for her. And if that was the last time we see her on a basketball court, then I think that would be an okay way to go out. Again, not a basketball player myself, so I wouldn't know for sure. And you never know what the future holds, especially in today's landscape. But hey, overall, I think it was a good season for the Ole Miss women's team. It just didn't in the way they wanted to. So now we go into the off season. We still have about 2 weeks left until 2 weeks, probably more like 3 weeks actually, until the transfer portal opens up for women's college basketball, which is going to be April 6th. I think the roster had, last I looked, had like 7 seniors on it. So there's going to be some work that is going to need to be done in the transfer portal, and also retaining, key players like Tiana Thompson and Sierra Thinu. So that's something that we've already touched on the website and everything. But yeah, so that's one thing that we have that I guess we already talked about it. A couple other things, and one of the things that, we're not going to really discuss too much is that picture with Deuce McAllister. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. Don't even, honestly, just start skipping. Because I probably shouldn't even say anything, because whether or not, whatever the intentions were with, Deuce McAllister taking a photo with Lane Kiffin down in Louisiana, whatever the intentions were, it doesn't really matter. The end result was, it's just nice. The best way to put this is really like when you have that younger sibling that just pushes your buttons for fun, basically. And we all have it. I'm not singling anybody out or anything like that. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. He's just, the buttons are being pushed, and the way that some Ole Miss fans reacted on message boards and social media is what the goal is. And the best way to do it is just to not even respond to it, acknowledge it, just act like it didn't even happen. And so that's all we're going to say about that. So let's talk a little bit of baseball. Ole Miss back amongst the ranked teams in every major college baseball poll in top 25 ranking. D1, they're at number 18, and that's the one that I can think of off the top of my head. And I don't have it pulled up right here. I have something else pulled up right here for y'all. But hey, it was a good series. I think we saw the vintage Hunter Elliott, ace type pitcher performance that we have been wanting to see all year. It wasn't a perfect game, obviously, but it was what what the expectation is of an ace pitcher, and that's what he just did on Friday night. Throw in Taylor Robb behind him, coming in and getting finishing off another solid relief outing. He's really kind of establishing himself as somebody that can come in and get close the gap between when a starter leaves from a quality start. So we're looking like 6th, 7th inning, and come in, pitch 2 to 3 innings, and save the rest of your bullpen arms for another game. That's big and important because they didn't overwork the bullpen this weekend, but with the injury to Cade Townsend, and we still don't know if he's going to be available for this upcoming weekend, which that's something we're going to talk about on Thursday. And spoiler alert, I think Ole Miss, if Cade Townsend is back, I think Ole Miss has a really, really, really good chance at upsetting Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are number 6 in the country. They're one of the 7 or 6 teams that are tied at the top of the SEC standings. So it would be an upset, but we'll get into that on Thursday because that series starts on Friday. Tonight, Ole Miss is playing Memphis. Owen Kelly's getting the start, and I think they have enough bullpen arms that this could be a bullpen game. I think what we would more like to see is some stuff at the plate specifically. Now, Tristan Bissetta had a big weekend against Kentucky. I think, 3 or 4 home runs. He had 2 on Friday and then 1 he had 2 in Thursday's game and then 1 in Saturday's finale. So you want to see that continue on, but one thing I noticed yesterday is that Judd Udemark hasn't hit a home run since the first or second game of the Evansville series. So we're talking 9 games ago, almost, that's about 3 weeks, probably 2.5 weeks ago since he last did a home run. He's still sitting at 10, and, you just kind of, you need him as well in that lineup to be swinging the bat effectively, and he will. I don't think we're gonna go through a whole season without seeing another home run from Judd. But right now, especially with the SEC schedule that Ole Miss has, you really want to see him in a better swinging better than he is right now. Now he's getting on base and he's scoring some runs and he's being a solid contributor and productive member of the lineup, but the home runs aren't there. And as we know, Ole Miss is kind of, for better or worse, lives or dies by the home run. They rank, I have it right here, they rank 3rd in the SEC with 46 home runs. Nobody's going to catch Georgia, who leads the league. And then Vanderbilt is right ahead of Ole Miss as well in that list. But, in terms of just overall production, 175 RBIs is only 10th in the SEC. The team batting average is 275, which is 3rd worst in the SEC. And then a lot of the other metrics out there as well. 228 strikeouts, that's the most in the SEC, combined with 143 walks. Actually, let's double check that real quick. Okay, so that's why we go and double check sometimes, because it didn't seem what I was saying wasn't matching what I thought was anyways. So let's back up a little bit. Ole Miss has 140, has gotten on base for free 143 times, which is about middle of the road for the SEC. The problem is they've struck out 228 times, which is the most in the SEC by one whole strikeout over Vanderbilt, who is, like, sidebar, what Vanderbilt is it really the injuries to the pitchers? Is that really what's going on there? Because that is not the Vanderbilt team that we're all used to seeing out there. But anyways, side note over. Let's get back to Ole Miss. Now, what we know, okay, so that's kind of what Ole Miss is at the plate. They're a power hitting team. Kind of, if they're hitting home runs, they're usually winning. If they're not, they can still win, but it's not as pretty. How about that? So, but what they do look really good at is pitching. Now, the team ERA is at 3.56. That's 7th in the SEC, so literally middle of the road for the SEC. I think getting into some, 6 conference games probably helps a little bit with that. The injury to Cade Townsend, has moved some people up in the rotation and in the bullpen rotation as well. But in terms of strikeouts, 293, that's 2nd in the SEC. They've only allowed 18 home runs. Opponents are hitting 227 off of the Ole Miss pitchers. And, they're fairly clean as well in terms of wild pitches, passed balls. 8 total wild pitches and 22 hit batters. Those are fairly good numbers, and the passed balls, wild pitches rather, is an important stat because that back space behind the catcher to the that back netting is fairly large, and it's easy to get a runner in from third to home on a pass ball like that. Great pitching, powerful hitting, as long as it shows up, and that's kind of what Ole Miss is this season. It's not a bad thing. It's not I wouldn't say it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It can be a good thing. You would like to not be so reliant on home runs for your offensive production, but and maybe strike out a little bit less. But at this point, I think that's who Ole Miss is, and you just need to see it all come together at the same time. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Kind of a few different things that we touched on today. Again, Ole Miss, Memphis tonight at 6:00, and then this weekend is the series against Mississippi State. We will come back on Thursday with an episode to really kind of dive into that series, talk about that, preview that, and kind of what we're looking for and expecting to see. So, until then, everybody out there, I hope y'all are all safe. Enjoy the rest of your days, evenings, and we will catch up with y'all on Thursday for another episode of the Outside.